From all over the country, we'll bring people to Hollywood who have something to say, to tell something they want on this new program, What Do You Want? Starring Groucho Marx. Brought to you by a couple of astute sponsors who are cashing in on the natural week-to-week publicity this new program will receive.
Well, here I am with a brand new show. I'm sure it doesn't come as any news that everybody in the world wants something. Some people ask for very little. Others want everything they can get. What's interesting is that so many people have such unusual and peculiar desires and ambitions. And that's the reason for this new show. We're going to find interesting people all over the country who have amusing, entertaining, and sometimes strange desires. This will be their platform. I don't promise that they'll all get what they want. All we promise them is a chance to tell the world about it. So, George, let's get underway. Who's the first to be asked, what do you want?
Groucho, Margaret Krebs is standing by to talk to you, so will you come in, please, Margaret, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to What Do You Want? Margaret Krebs, huh? Is it Miss Krebs or Mrs. Krebs?
It's Miss Krebs.
Do you have a job, Margaret?
Yes, I'm a nurse and a physiotherapist.
Are you a practical nurse?
I'm an undergraduate.
Is that an impractical nurse?
That's impractical.
Oh. Okay, Margaret, now let's find out the real reason you're up here. What do you want?
I want a woman to be president.
I want a woman, too, but what do you want up here?
I want a woman to be the next president of the United States.
You mean you're dissatisfied with Kennedy already? Do you have any special woman in mind for this job, Margaret, or will just anybody do as long as it's a female?
No, there are many qualified women for the job.
Could you name one woman that you'd like to see elected president?
Well, I'd take the job.
Would you like to be president?
Well, I campaigned in 1960. I was a candidate.
You campaigned this year?
I was a candidate in 1960.
Well, you could be president. You certainly have as much hair as Kennedy. You ran in the last election?
And I'm still
I don't remember seeing your name on the ballot. What party were you affiliated with? Prohibition?
No, I had no party, but I was a write-in candidate.
Oh. Well, if you'd have changed your name to X, you'd have been elected by a landslide. You say you ran in the last election. How many votes did you get?
I have no way of knowing just exactly how many votes I got.
Approximately.
Well,
10 million?
I know of, oh, no.
5 million?
No.
A million?
I know of 5.
5 million?
Votes.
5 votes you got?
That's what I know of. I may have gotten
Well,
more.
there may have been 2 others. There may have had 7. Maybe a couple you didn't hear about.
Yeah, there may have been.
That was pretty close. This may explain why the vote between Kennedy and Nixon was so close. See what she did? She actually got the big independent vote. 5 votes. Now, how much did you spend on your campaign?
I spent $500 of my own money.
That's $100 a vote. You can't run for president. You'd have to be as rich as Croesus or Rockefeller. That's a lot of money. You spent $500?
And $13.75 gifts from friends.
You gave $13.75?
No, friends gave me $13.75.
That was, what was that, the ride home after the...
That was for stamps.
Oh. Why are you so insistent on having a woman president?
Well, a woman approaches a subject from a different angle than a man.
That's very true. That's one of the profoundest statements I've ever heard. But I doubt if that is enough to get you elected to the White House.
And a woman has intuition.
Yes. I've often heard about this.
You've heard about it?
Why is it they make so many mistakes when they get married if they have this feminine intuition?
Well, it's not the woman's fault to making a mistake.
I see. It's always the man's fault.
It's always the man's fault.
Well, you'll certainly get the woman's vote when you're right. But you'd be all alone in the White House, Margaret. You see, Kennedy has Jackie up there, but you'd be up there all alone.
Well, I have
That's
4
a very
years.
lonely place.
I have 4 years. Maybe I'll get a husband in those 4 years.
That's why you want to be president, huh? Would you push him around if you were president?
No.
Well, then he'd actually be president. He'd be making the decisions, wouldn't he?
Oh, no, he wouldn't. Not if I was president.
Yeah. Well, now I know why you're single. You know, it's all right for women to be the boss, but they must pretend that men are the bosses.
Oh, well, you can pretend.
You got to do some great acting when you're married if you want to sustain a marriage and keep it moving. Now, Margaret, we know what you want. Now, here's what I want. I want people to be more informed on what's going on in the world. So we're going to test your knowledge of current history. Now, this is Mr. Fenneman. Have you met Mr.
No, we haven't. How do you do?
This is Margaret Krebs. George, Mr. Fenneman is going to ask you a question. If you get the question right, you win $1,000. Now, George, you ask her, and I'm going to try to guess too. I don't want to see the answer.
The bachelor king of Belgium made big news late in 1960 when he married a beautiful Spaniard.
I'm sunk already.
For $1,000, what's the name of the king of the Belgians?
Now, just a moment, Margaret. Before you give me your answer, I have a deal. How would you like to stop here and settle for $400? You have a choice. You can quit, or you can go ahead and try for the 1,000. Of course, if you miss, then you're broke. Now, think it over.
I think I know it, but
Well, in that case...
What are you going to do, Margaret?
I'll take a chance.
All right.
No.
Now, do you remember the question? I've forgotten the question.
He's forgotten the question, and I don't know the answer. This is a great team.
What is the name of the king of the Belgians?
It's Baudin or something.
I think we're going to give you that.
Close enough.
It's Baudin, Baudouin, and we're going to give you
I thought it was better one. You just won $1,000, Margaret. Now, you can buy a lot of votes with that much money. You plan on running again in '64?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations, Margaret.
Thank you very much.
And good luck
I'm so glad
on
you're
your
going to-
political career.
Hey,
And
I'm
when
so
you get
glad-
into the White House, the first thing you do... When you get in the White House, Margaret, the first thing you do is change all the furniture around, paint the kitchen, and marry the Secretary of the Treasury.
Two interesting ladies are on stage now. They're Beth Lawrence and her daughter Betty. They're eager to surprise Groucho with a most unusual answer when he asks, "What do you want?"
Nice to meet you. You sit down. Welcome, girls. Now, what are you after? I mean, what do you want? Where are you from, Beth?
Well, I was born in Homosassa Springs, Florida, but
You were born in where?
Homosassa Springs. That's an Indian name. But I grew up in Orlando, and then I went to Atlanta to live, and I was assistant buyer for a large department store there.
What did you do? Go around and buy department stores?
Now, you know what assistant buyer, they're a flunky for the buyer.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, they're general
And
flunky.
did you do a lot of flunky business down there?
Well, not exactly too much flunky business, but still I got married there,
Yeah,
too.
enough to have Betty, anyway.
Well,
Well, now that we know a little about you both, I'll ask the important question. The all-important question. What do you girls want?
well,
You don't mind if I call you a girl?
No, I feel highly flattered. We want husbands to meet our specifications. Nice husbands.
Oh, well, you're not going to get husbands that are shaped like you are.
Well, after all, after all, I'm a good cook, though. Now, if you're a good cook...
No, but
well,
your
that's-
specifications are different than most men I know.
Well, I know, but I'm not going to,
Well, Beth, we better stop speaking in generalities. Specifically, what are you looking for in the way of husbands? Men?
we're looking for men, but I want a husband that loves cats.
Sam cats, you mean?
No, not Sam cats. I mean that loves nice cats, you know.
You don't care if he loves you, you
cats.
just want a husband that loves cats, is that it?
Four-legged cats.
And he also has to
Listen,
But wait,
and
suppose he doesn't love you and he just loves cats.
Well, I think it'd come together, though. I mean, because I love cats, and I'd have to have a husband that loves cats, and then I want one that loves music, and then he has to have money, too. He has to have at least $5,000.
See. Well, there you have it, man. There's the deal. All you need is an ear for music, $5,000 in cash, and a love for cats. What about you, Betty? If you fell in love with a fellow, would you marry him if he didn't like cats?
No, I wouldn't.
Even if
because
you were crazy about him?
I've encountered this problem before, and it wouldn't work out, and I just won't do it.
Well, Betty's had men to try to get her to marry him,
I've had this trouble before.
Well, Betty is very attractive, and...
Well, I think she is, too.
And
She's
so
my
are you.
Well, thank you. But anyway, we just happen to have a lot of cats.
We love our cats, and they have to love our cats, too.
So
In other words, you don't want a man, you want a catalyst.
we want a cat lover, but he has to be a...
And not only that, Groucho, a man that loves cats is very trustworthy, and they're very sweet people, and you can...
Who is?
Cat.
A cat, and if they're...
A cat man?
Yeah, and if they're good to love a cat, then they're good people, too.
They're very honest people.
You mean a man couldn't love a cat and be a crook?
Not really.
Not really.
Listen,
His heart is too good.
it has been proven. Now, this is entirely true, that people that love cats,
What is this based on? Do you have any facts? I mean, are you just ad-libbing
Well,
this?
I know. Listen, I knew a photographer once, and he'd been
I knew a
for
photographer
40
once,
years.
too. He didn't have a cat to his name.
Well, this one had a cat, and he said he could always tell his customers by whether they were honest or not by his cats.
Well,
Now,
was this photographer a cool cat?
Well, he must have been, but anyway,
How many cats do you have at home?
we have 15.
15 cats at home, huh?
One kitten.
Well, do you have males or females, or what are they?
About 8.
Is there another sex with cats, or males and females?
8 girls and 7 boys.
About 8
You
of
have-
one and 7
You
of one.
have 8 of one and 7 of the other.
Although our
That
husband...
back fence of yours around midnight must sound like Hollywood Boulevard during
Those cats,
a hurricane.
listen, those cats are under lock and key, and they're the quietest things in the
They
whole
are,
neighborhood, I should say. Now,
They're
the
really
neighbors
nice, too.
The
Well,
neighbors cannot complain.
They never complain.
No,
Well,
they
you know,
can't.
every dog has his day, so I suppose every cat has to have his night.
Yeah, well, the cats...
Now, Betty, in order to get out tonight, how many cat sitters did you have to engage?
Well, we didn't engage any because I brought half of them with me tonight.
You're kidding. If I'd have known this, I'd have had a double allergy shot. Well, I know from experience that this is something I can't avoid. So, Betty, why don't you trot off and drag these animals out here, huh?
All right.
Betty loves cats.
Betty is a fool, you know. Betty is a cute-looking girl. If it wasn't for those lousy cats, she could be married tomorrow.
Oh, now that's little Haji Baba, and
See, here's one.
Who are these?
now this is baby's sister here.
Baby Snooks?
Yeah, and then this is a little Prince Haji Baba.
They'd make a nice rug for the kitchen.
I'm afraid they'll knock it off.
Yeah, I'll put it right here.
Here, now turn around here like a nice boy. They've got... How do you like those cats?
They're beautiful. They've only got 4 there. Wait till they're going to have 15 out here.
Oh, we didn't bring all 15.
Oh, how much you bring? 14?
No, we brought 8. No,
Can you imagine what a rival network could do to this show right now if they trained a dog loose?
Now, listen, they better not on
If
my
they trained a dog loose right now. Well, Beth,
On our cat.
introduce me to your friends.
All right. This is...
Now, all the men out there, I want you to meet your new in-laws. Go ahead, Beth, introduce them.
I'm trying to get this, but I can't find this leash. All right, this one, I'll begin with Honey Sam here. He is, Honey Sam is the oldest.
Who's this?
Honey Sam.
Honey Sam. Now,
This
how do
is
you get a
Honey
name
Sam.
like that?
Well, the Honey Sam is, well, he was just so sweet. We had to call him something with honey in it. And I tell you, he was 12 years old last November.
Yeah, have they won any ribbons?
Oh, gosh, hundreds of them.
Can you imagine how many boxes they must have in the house with sand in them? I bet it looks like Arabia there. Now, Betty, switch the subject for just a moment. You haven't told me specifically what kind of a husband you want. Do you want a cat man?
Very, very much so. And I want him to be a nice dresser, but not too stuffy.
A nice presser, did you
A
say?
dresser.
Oh.
You know,
Listen, Betty wants one that'll roll in the floor with the cat.
With Betty? You want one of them?
Yeah. No, I want him
I'd be glad to roll on the floor with Betty.
Well,
You'd have to get rid of the cats.
I know, but you know, I want him to be able to feel free to be friends with all my cats and be and put on some old clothes and just roll around with them and just
Betty.
Somebody like Marlon Brando, you know, like that.
Well, I love cats.
You want to roll on the floor with Marlon Brando?
With the cats, yeah.
With all the cats and you and Marlon Brando.
Well,
That's
if he
fine.
could ever see our cats and come and see them, boy,
cats.
he would be down on the floor with them because I happen to know
How do
he
you
loves
know?
them.
How do you know he likes cats?
Oh, I've seen him photographed 1,000 times with cats. He always has cats in his home.
That.
Really?
He conveys that
yes.
feeling to you, and
He
he
loves
also,
that.
and
That's
his
why he's such
eyes
a good
tell you
actor.
that.
His
Well,
eyes, you know.
I don't think you could nail Brando. He's pretty fast on his feet. Well, there it is. Now, I've asked these girls, what do you want, and they told me.
Well, that's what we
Now, I
want.
don't know what's going to happen as a result of your appeal for husbands, but I'm sure there'll be some good prospects show up. And when they do, we're going to have you back along with all the other candidates on this show.
Wonderful. Listen, maybe
Now, if
sometimes...
there are any men listening with $5,000 in cash and enough liver for 15 cats, let's hear from
Well,
them.
it takes a lot of cat food.
Yes, it does. Now, girls, are you ready to take a chance at the $1,000? George, you explain the question. You give him the question, please.
She was so busy with the cats until I don't know whether we don't know very... to have a chance to read
Well,
the
this question, I can assure you, this question will not be about cats.
Oh.
Now, George, you asked the question, and after he asked the question, I'm going to tell you something.
The birth pangs of the Republic of the Congo
I don't want to see that.
were
Turn it around.
current history, certainly. So for $1,000, tell us the name of the military leader who ousted Lumumba and took over control of the new country shortly after its independence.
Now, just a minute, girls. Before you answer, listen to this. Would you like to stop right here and take $400? Or would you like to try to answer the question, and if you get it right, you win $1,000? Of course, if you miss it, these cats will be reduced to hunting mice.
Well,
Think it over.
Well, I don't know the question because as I told
Betty,
you...
you don't know it?
And because I told you we don't have much time to read the newspapers. We stay so busy all the
I know.
time, you know, with the cats and
You must have
everything.
newspapers spread all over the floor. But they're not today's papers,
And so
unfortunately.
we'll just take the $400.
Well,
and
you've
be
decided
sure.
a bird in the hand is worth 2 cats in the
Yeah,
bush,
that's
huh?
right. At least
Okay,
we'll
you
be
get
sure.
$400. By the way, did you have any answer in mind?
About what?
They're real cute, aren't they? They're real cute. And you have to admire people who are so fanatically fond of animals. All right, give them the answer.
Mobutu. What do you think of that?
How would I have known?
Well, the next time you get next new cat you get, you name him Mobutu, huh?
We'll name him Groucho.
Yeah, I wish you would. Beth and Betty Lawrence, thanks for being with us, and good luck to you and the cats. You're real charmers, and a man is a fool if he doesn't grab a package deal like this.
A commercial will come at this point, and speaking of commercials, our title, What Do You Want?, is a natural springboard for selling the sponsor's product. Groucho, we have a very special guest for you to meet now. He's one of the best-known law enforcement officers of the United States. And
Well,
certainly
goodbye.
a leading
Wait a
citizen.
minute, who is this before I...
He is the Los Angeles Chief of Police, William H. Parker. So, Chief Parker, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
How do you do, Chief? There you go, here. Right over here and sit down. Sit down for the Inquisition, Chief.
Thank you. I'm not saying a word without my mouthpiece. You know what's strange? You and I have attended many of the same affairs, but we've never spoken to each other. Did you know that?
Well, I think you're right. I don't recall ever seeing you at any of these affairs.
Of course you didn't see me while you were breaking in the front door. I was breaking out the back door. How long have you been in police work, Chief?
Well, I joined the Los Angeles Police Department in August 1927.
And are you happy with your present vocation?
Oh, I think that I
How'd you get
made
to
a
be,
wise selection.
How'd you get to be chief?
Through competitive...
Bribery?
You don't want me to answer that. I started to answer through competitive civil service examination. Gotcha.
And you didn't schmear anybody?
It wasn't necessary at all.
You know what schmear means, though, huh?
Well,
Is
I
this
don't know the sense in which you use it. I'm involved.
I'm only kidding, Chief. After all, you're my guest, and if I'm not careful, someday I may be your guest. And if I am, remember, Chief, as far as I'm concerned, the rubber hose should only be used for watering the lawn. Do they still use the rubber hose down there?
For watering the lawn.
He's pretty shifty himself, this kid. Now, how does the L.A. police force stack up against other cities? Are we modern, scientific, and as infallible as the TV detectives?
Well, this, I hate to really make that comparison. I would imagine that they learned everything they know from us. Mm-hmm. But actually...
How is it they solve all the crimes and you don't?
Because they only have 30 minutes.
That's not true, Chief. They only have 27. There's 3 minutes with a commercial.
Well, you're technically right.
Could you do it in 27 minutes?
We have, in sometimes in 27 minutes. In some cases, we haven't solved in 27 years.
You never call in any of the TV detectives to solve a case, huh?
Well, I think we had some help from Jack Webb from time to time, but I can't recall using anyone else.
Well, with all the scientific approach, I assume you've wiped out crime in L.A., is that right?
Oh, actually, it's getting worse. We have a very difficult and serious situation. It is not a question of the proficiency of the police service. It's a question of the indulgences of the American people. You see, crime in America is skyrocketing. In Los Angeles, the same number of persons in 1960 committed 2.5 times as many serious felony crimes as they did in 1950. And all of the pressures seem to be to increase the safeguards to
of the criminals.
Protect the criminal from being brought to justice. It costs the police more and more to actually accomplish less, while crime is ascending at a tremendous rate, and all of the experts tell us it will continue.
Well, I'm right with you, Chief. We may kid the police, but I want to tell you, in a serious emergency, it's mighty handy to have one around. Chief, you didn't mind that if I kidded you up there tonight, did you? Because, you know, after all, we do try to...
It happens to me all the time.
You make a practice of going on these
I get
kind of
letters
shows?
from crackpots.
You get letters from crackpots, you say?
Yes.
Well, thanks loads, Chief. At least you have to admit that I'm a lovable old crackpot.
Agreed.
Chief, you know why you're here. Now tell me, what do you want?
Of course, as we have discussed it, I have more than 34 years of service as a police officer, so I'm not seeking anything for myself. But I am very much interested in the welfare of my nation. And I am interested in finding some way to bring into the police service in greater numbers qualified men, because I think that they are the group that must hold this country together until we do make up our mind to comply with the rules under which we must live. I think if more young men realized how important the police task is, how complicated it is, how challenging it is, and how rewarding in the sense of gratification of something well done and a contribution to their country, that we would have no difficulty getting additional people, the numbers that we need. And if this program has assisted in that regard, my time tonight has been very much worthwhile.
Well, I hope it does succeed. And Chief, I'm too old to apply for a job as a police officer, but if you ever need an old stool pigeon, just call on me.
We can use information from any source. We will
Chief, I don't
have-
want you to think attempting a bribe up here, but how would you like $1,000?
Well, if you're referring to the quiz money, I have with
Well,
me...
I
here-
wasn't referring to that, but you switched it around
Well,
to that. What I was
deliberately.
referring to, I have a few favors I would like.
I think we must talk about the quiz money.
All right, well, let's confine it at the moment to the quiz money.
But I
Later on, I'll see you outside and we can talk about
I have a young officer with me tonight that I think is quite representative of the department who is here for the purpose of engaging in the
it. Oh,
quiz.
good, but you don't care if I bribe him, huh?
Well, now, that's a personal matter,
Oh,
so
I
you
see.
can take it up with him.
Well, where is he?
Of course, I must tell you this, that any money that he might win here, he cannot keep it.
You mean I get it back?
No, it goes to the Los Angeles Police Relief Association and to our charity fund.
Well, it couldn't go for a better...
So, would you like to meet the officer? Officer Rimble, will you come forward, please, and meet Groucho Marx? Groucho, Officer Rimble.
Pleased to meet you.
I'll leave him with you, and
Chief, it was a pleasure to talk to you, and from now on, you can be sure of at least one law-abiding citizen in this town, George Fenneman.
well, Groucho, this is...
I think you scared the daylights out of him.
On behalf of the force, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, you want to sit down? Mr. Fenneman, did you meet Mr. Fenneman? He's
No,
going
we
to ask
haven't.
you a question. If you get the right answer, it's worth $1,000.
Here's the question. A long-legged Tennessee State co-ed won 3 gold medals for the United States in the Rome Olympics. Still the best female track star in the country. Who is this charming girl?
Now, just a moment before you answer. How'd you like to stop right now and settle for $400? If you don't know the answer, you can stop now and take the $400. Or you can go ahead for the grand.
As the chief mentioned, this is not our money, and I wouldn't want to gamble with it, so I think I'll take the $400.
Okay. I want a chance at the answer.
Well, you don't get any money, though, if you
No,
get it
I don't
right,
get any
so-
money, but I'll see if I know. Is it Wilma Rudolph?
You're right.
Well, I read the sporting pages. So you're grabbing the $400. You're smart. I predict someday you'll be the chief. Thanks to you and the Chief Parker, and good luck to you and all policemen everywhere.
Thank you.
Well, next week, What Do You Want will be brought to you by another perceptive sponsor who will capitalize on the publicity and merchandising advantages of this exciting new format. And to illustrate the wide scope of our format, let's take a look at some of the interesting guests we'll have on future shows. For example, here's a professional gambler who wants to expose card cheats by revealing their tricks.
I got 2 pair.
You got 2 pair?
Yeah.
I got 2 pair, too. 4 aces.
Yeah.
Well, it beats me. I got 9s and 5s.
Variety? This format has unlimited variety. Here's a couple of young drama students who want to become professional actors.
Madam, if it wasn't for this excruciating palpitation, if my whole insides wasn't upset, I'd talk to you in a different way. Oxymetal's out of line!
Well, these are just a few of the wide assortment of people who come from all over the country to answer Groucho's question, what do you want?
Well, that's it for tonight. I'll be here again next week, and I trust you will, too. Good night, and when you buy our sponsors' products, tell them Groucho sent you.